Steven from LegitTechTutorials, and we are on tutorial number what are we on? 7. So we're on tutorial number 7 for beginning Java. So beginning Java 7, and we're going to go over class and methods problem. So let's. I'm just going to do this basically to further your knowledge of classes and methods. So first we're going to go new, and we're going to do a new class, and we're going to call this one employee, and you want to generate a main here. You're going to hit finish, and then we're going to do some stuff in here again. So you're going to get rid of that, and then we're going to have employee, and we're going to say we're going to have a string first name, a first name, string a last name, continue. We're gonna have double a wage, and we're gonna have string position. Oops, I closed that. So now what we're gonna want to do is we're gonna do string first name to store all these variables, last name, string a wage, and string position. Alright, so first name equals a first name, last name equals a last name, spelled first wrong. And then we have wage equals a wage, and finally we have position equals a position. This is supposed to be a double here. Double. It is missing an I. Okay, there we go. So now what we have here is we're going to go ahead and take a look at what that would look like. So we're going to say Steven, lowercase o, equals new employee, Steven M, wage, so we'll say $10 an hour, and position is going to be clerk. And there you go. Okay, so now let's say I wanted to do something like void check in. So let's say we're doing some sort of interface, some sort of program that runs on a computer there. It's just similar to something where you tap an NFC card or whatever, or you stamp date stamp cards. So we're gonna do that, but electronic version. So this would be something like NFC, and I have what we need here to check in. So here I'm creating a new date, and here I'm getting the hours, and so here I'm getting the hours and minutes. So it will display those, and that will be our check-in. So we're gonna say, but we're gonna change this. So we're gonna say date check in equals new date And this, of course, is just for example. This is probably not how I would particularly do it. And now the reason why this, so we have the import up here on the top. Make sure you have that import, won't work otherwise. So we're gonna say check in dot we're not gonna worry about storing this. We're just gonna display it here, and that'll be fine. So we're gonna just say here is check in, and here is check out. Check in, sorry. And then let's just say, rather than storing it as a date, we're gonna say int check in hours, int check in minutes, int check out hours, int check out minutes. Okay, so now we're gonna have a check-in void check out and then so here after we say that, we're gonna say check in hours equals check in dot get hours. Actually just got rid of that. So we're gonna have to re-enable that right here, which I should have it still copied there. So this here, we'll get rid of this. And there we go. So now it's all stored, and then we're gonna have a checkout. So we're gonna do this again. But we're gonna say check out, and then let's say void calculate time. So we're gonna say we're gonna have a return type, and we're gonna say an int. Let's not do that. Let's do void. Let's just do hours. So get hours, and let's have this as a int hours. So let's say here we have check out hours minus check in hours. But we're gonna have that return check out hours minus check in hours, and that should do just fine. So now we have that option. So we're gonna do Steven.check-in and Steven.check-out, for example. And then let's say we have some getters and setters. So we're gonna have void get wage. Sorry, it's gonna be double get wage, and then return wage. And then we're gonna say something like void set wage, double a wage, wage equals a wage. Alright, and then let's just say we go system.out.println Steven's wage is, let's say here, Steven's plus Steven dot get wage. Alright, so right here you're not going to see much. Here it's showing the hours and whatever, and so check in, check out, and then so it's showing your check-in time, but the problem is that it's doing one after another, so you're not going to be able to see it. Now let's say if you did that separately, then it would work. If you, for whatever, stalled the application and waited a certain period of time, or wrote something to a file, right? If you wrote something to a file, then you would be able to check that. Now we'll be doing that later, so you could tell when you checked in and out to make a fully functional program. But this is just, to solve another problem. So here it's returning, your wage, and then we could have it, calculate wage. The whole point is to understand this here, is to understand, how to create a constructor here, and how to initialize stuff in parameters, learning about parameters. Here I'm passing in parameters, and why you need to have something like this where it's got no parameters, right? Return values, here is a double or void, not returning anything. Here we got returning out of primitive int, and the date and stuff like that doesn't really matter. I'm just doing that to show something cool. But yeah, so it's also kind of still pretty hard to read. As you see, it's kind of all bunched up here, but it works, and nothing's indented. It's pretty nasty looking. So then you see, how to create a object such as this, and things like that. So we are going to expand on either student or employee in the next tutorial. The next tutorial will be extending, which is basically inheritance. You have a child class and a parent class. The parent class, takes everything from the child class and could do whatever it could do everything in the child class and in the parents class. So in that case, we would create something like a manager. So the manager has all the abilities of the employee, but more, right? Or student, it could be like teacher, right? So or grad student, right? And yeah, so we'll do that next tutorial, and then we'll continue on, and that would be tutorial number 8, and we'll continue from there. So this has been Steven from LegitTechTutorials, and hopefully after this a short little extension of another problem solving, you understand what about classes and methods, and it didn't solve too much of a problem. It just kind of had a little, we just created a little bit of a data structure here to practice a little more. You'll get plenty of practice of this. This probably wasn't even necessary, but it's just, to hammer that idea home that this is very important, as we will continue doing these object-oriented programming for the rest of the tutorials, and because it's the center, it's what data is. So I'd like to thank you for watching, and subscribe, stay tuned for my next tutorial in Java, and thank you for watching.